Here were the missionaries in 1667, and they had their celebrated their mass on Lake Nipigon, on the Nipigon River, Lake Nipigon area there, or somewhere maybe around Orient Bay in 1667, and then in 1668 Duluth came up and left his brother up on Lake Nipigon and north of Ombabica Bay there, and they built La Tourette, the Fort La Tourette there. So we've been in the fur trade since 1668. By 1799 there were 13 different posts around Lake Nipigon, and then in about say 1808, something like that, the beaver crashed. So it went down to about maybe 4 or 5 posts that stayed up there, and all the rest, it sort of went into a forgotten territory for quite a few years, up until, actually until I guess everybody started fishing there. There was still a Hudson Bay Company there, and they were Hudson Bay Northwest Company. They kept their posts up there, but they didn't do the big traffic that they were doing before. So what you see on that map and the pins are where these trade axes. So the trade axes go from the late 1600s up to the U.S. Indian Department. They gave out axes as part of their treaty pay. Oh. And that was found in Lake Helen.
It's quite a collection you got there.
Yeah.
So, yes, and that is, there's this, David Peterson is doing a compendium of trade axes, and he's got over 800 now for the Lake Superior Basin area, which nobody was doing in 1973 when we opened the museum, and I was trying to get information on trade axes. They had pipe tomahawks, they had imitation ones, but they didn't have the real McCoys. There was the odd book that would have reference to some with the trademarks on, so we knew they were like the 3 crowns for the Hudson Bay Company, and which Peterson says is one of the better axes that he's seen of that. And then we have French. So we have French and British. And they figure the one in the top right-hand corner was a Spanish-made axe. Cool. It's a big guy. So he's really been good at. He photographed. I took those axes up to Thunder Bay, and when he was there at the university, and he photographed each one, measured them, and did all that. So got them really well detailed. So that came out of the blog, because I had the pictures of the axes, the drawings I had and stuff up there, and some guy, and it used to be one of the guys from here that's up in Thunder Bay, he told Peterson about it, and then Peterson saw that, and then he got in contact. So it goes, the blog gets around, comes around, so the blog on the Beardmore Valley pulls in a lot of people too. Now the tobacco twists, they survived the fire. I had to put a little explanation of what they were, because they looked like a little bit like dog doo-doo.
Yeah, true enough.
Yeah, and that's the ulu, an Eskimo ulu there. And then you have the people that do the work with the birch bark. They make the knife sheets, they make the baskets, and they make the slippers. So they become, and then that's the basket. That basket went through the fire.
Wow.
And that end of the censure flèche fell in there and survived. So it got wet, and then it froze. So when the windows blew out, they could get the water in. And I was so worried about some places that didn't have, window access or something like that, but it just blew that, what used to be the window, that was in my room. It blew it right out with the explosion.
What vintage is this Hudson Bay Company pin? What year would that be, roughly?
I don't know. They found that inside the muckluck.
Oh,
They took
wow.
one of the mucklucks down to well, you see, we'd had it. We used to have cloth backing, so we had the pin stuck on it, and then when it burnt, the pin fell into the bearskin muckluck. So when they were cleaning up the bearskin muckluck, they found a Hudson Bay Company pin, which I forgot we had. So I don't know what year that would have been from.
Okay.
So they're.
And these little birch bark canoes, that was kind of a traditional gift, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that's made locally from the Lake Helen. Yeah, Lake Helen, or actually likely maybe they might have even been up at Parmachine.
Yeah, I see that.
Because of the date.
Well, and even in the
Because they moved in 1950 when the train stopped running its little coach.
well, and you see that being carried by part of the royal family when they came here to fish.
Yeah.
Back in 1919, they were given a gift of a small canoe. You'll see that under their arm in the photos down on the river.
Yeah, and then that's one of the Francis Hopkins paintings there that we have. I've got about 5. I think I've got about 5 of her posters. She came through here with her husband on his way west. So she did a lot of drawing and then painting so that people know what the voyageurs look like because of an artist. So art really held history. It shows history. I don't know what they're going to think of Picasso's art, but but when you have reality art, it worked because there was no photographs.
Documentation, yeah.
No
it's really
photographs
cool.
yet. So, and all these snowshoes came in after the fire because we lost all but one. And that was just a junk one we had in the basement that would survive.